Yes.
How was the weather?
Believe it or not, it's not that bad. It's a little bit cool, but for February, for March, it's not bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, usually February or March is cool times.
But it's, as I said, it's not bad at all. I'm just trying to get you stationary here. Just make okay, that's good. Are you seeing me clearly?
It's a little pixelated. Oh, I lost you. Lost Mr. McCook. Hey, O'Shane, Tavel, welcome, gentlemen. Um, it says we got 12 people here so far. If you're here, drop a comment. Let's let's get engaged. Okay, that's much better. Make sure your device is on Wi-Fi. Eh?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, make sure
It,
you're on Wi-Fi and not
it
cellular.
it is.
Okay. Um, let's just get a few more people on here, guys. Don't forget to share the link because this one's gonna be good,
Oh boy.
as we know. Peter's been dropping some knowledge on Facebook all week, so it's like he's priming up for this. Howard, bless up. Are you seeing these? You seeing the messages, right?
I am.
To chat, yeah. Um, so yeah, you've been priming this because all that knowledge you've been dropping. I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
Peter's going hard.
Yeah, there's a little motivation behind it, but sometimes you gotta get out of the closet per
Hmm.
se and start sharing with others, yeah, instead of keeping things as a secret, as LinkedIn always pushes me. And that's what I've been doing. But I need to put a little bit of disclaimer out there, right? These
Yeah.
things just work for my farm, right? All this knowledge that I'm sharing with you, everybody have access to it. So, but I realize some people don't do the research, so I'm sharing. So if I make a mistake, please consult with your vet or consult with somebody like yourself to straighten out the fact. I give you a perfect example. I share a video about Mr. Brown weaning. I'm sorry, after day one of birth, right?
Yeah.
He made a couple mistakes, and I wasn't going to call him out because he's trying, and I'm not on the ground. He should have had a bucket with sanitizer water, so every time he snipped the animal, he disinfect the tool right away, wash his hand before he grab another animal, because by time you snip the tail, snip the teeth, your tool is dirty. Grab another animal, and
Hmm.
you're using the same tool. He did not do that in a demo, so I don't want to say, hey, look there, him not practicing sanitation, right? But Mr. Brown make a mistake. I call him right away, and he fixed that.
Okay. All right. Well, what I mean, we all make mistakes, and the whole idea is to share information, right?
That's right.
So it doesn't matter. We're all here to learn, and we learn and we get better. Okay, so why don't you give people a little background on who Mr. McCook is, who's Mr. McCool is, and a background on the farm.
All right. Believe it or not, I didn't study or train for what I'm doing today. I
Okay.
started. I started as a chef
Oh.
uh, for for um, for 25 years. Right. I was a corporate chef. I designed menus. I design restaurant setup, and I troubleshoot. I travel
Okay.
from the east all over Canada, straight up to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and that's what I originally did. And then
So
I got in.
are you still in connection with the chef community?
And that's the no, I'm not. I dropped out of that
Okay.
12 years ago, and
No,
I
because
got into it.
a good friend of mine is one of those celebrity chefs,
Oh,
Roger
who's
Mooking.
that?
Roger
Okay,
Mooking. Yeah, he
okay,
used to be a rapper in
okay.
a group, and then he just loved chef work. He just loved cooking, and he just transition over to being a celebrity chef. While he used
Nice.
to do, yeah, he used to be a chef and do music on the side. Then the
Right,
music took 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 off, and then his group broke up. So he go back to being a chef, and now
right.
he just does music because he loves it.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, okay, so you transition from being a chef
Into
to
transportation.
okay,
Yeah. So where I had still I'm still into transportation. Just freight in the GTA from Ontario. I had about 28 units on the road, and I downsized about 2 3 years ago, and true to the law change and insurance and stuff like that. And I still doing logistic, but not as big as I was. I had, as I said, I had about 28 units on the road, refrigerated units, and
okay,
uh, and then from here, I'm in it on a smaller scale now, and I'm focused on retirement, coming home and enjoying you down in St. Mary there, spending 4 or 5 months out of the year down there, and then
hmm
the rest of the time up here.
okay,
And, and that's my background.
okay, and so what makes you decide to have a farm enterprise in Jamaica while you're living in Canada?
Um, when you retire, you wanted something to do, right? So my uncle, actually, my grandfather had a farm up in St. Mary there, and I always admire what they do. I love seeing him going to the field, reaping banana, looking after the cows, looking after the pigs. But opportunity came up when my grandfather passed, my uncle took over the farm. He passed away, and the place just sit there. So I approached the family and said, "Hey, I like to take over the farm." But as you know, with family property, you have to be careful. So I set up
Yep.
a lease. I set up a lease with them, a 25-year lease, where I control the whole place because I wasn't going to put that type of money in that place if I don't have full say, right?
Yeah.
And I took over the property, and I said, okay, just going to restore what my uncle did, keep me busy when I retire. Then when I did the math, I said, boy, I don't know into this, but banana can't make me no money, you know. And then I started doing some more calculation. He had coffee on the place. And I said, okay, I'm going to add some coffee to the place. I started adding a coffee. Coffee take 3 years to come in. When I did the
hmm
maths again, said, boy, this is not enough. And then he had a structure there for a pig pen, but it was outdated. Sewage just went down in the trench and stuff like that. So I said, okay, I did my maths and I said, hey, this can give me about 200 units a year. So let me do it, right? Little did
hmm
I know, I revamped the place. I did a lot of research. I invited iPro in, talked to Mr. I think his name is Mr. Thomas. I talked to the board that does the pork pig association. Wasn't
hmm
getting anywhere with them, so I decided to uh, hook up with a vet called Dr. Ryan Chandler, and we had a good conversation because he's the vet who took care of my dogs. I have a home down in Retreat, Content,
hmm
and so that's what got me into pigs. I built up a pen. I said I don't want no smell. I want to be able to go down there and have a cup of coffee and look at these animals. Because pig doesn't have to be dirty. So when I build this pen, everybody say, "We are doing, you waste money and all that stuff." But I accomplished my goal. And then there's a demand for the animals, and then I expanded. So I have close to 4,000, almost 5,000 square feet of pen space right now. Okay, I can do comfortable 400 animals this year to 500 animals.
Wow. So, what is what is the production system that you're running on the farm? Oh, first,
You
before you go into the production system, give us, because I put a video out of all the things you were talking on Facebook about the different things that are happening on the farm. So your farm is a diverse farm. You do
exactly.
crops, some crops, and you do livestock, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so
All
give us
right.
a list of the different things that are happening on the farm.
Okay, this is a part I'm very, very interested in, and I'm very proud of what I'm doing. And I have not shared that too much with a lot of people. A lot of people don't know that I'm an organic farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couple years ago, I decided to stop using chemical. I met up with a gentleman called Prince Avery from Growers Choice, right? And he has a line of product that you can get at the Jamaica farm store for agriculture down by Trinity there or in Gale or any of those farm store, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did some research for them. So I started organic. So I banana,
Mm-hmm.
plantain, coffee, coconut, uh, avocado, or Jamaica pear.
Hold on, stick up it. Say that again. What you say, coconut or coconut?
What do you mean? I'm from St. Marina. Coconut.
Yo, because every time I say coconut, Trudy make fun of me.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Trudy's from Kentucky, you know. What do you expect? All right. Sorry, Trudy.
All right, go on, continue.
All right. So yeah, I said banana coffee, and I want to push that organic part of the farming that I'm doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
do compost tea. What is compost tea? Compost tea where you take the natural earth that you have, say for example, by the riverside, you had some molasses to it, you introduce some fish pump to have oxygen in the tank, and you let it sit for a week or two, and you take that and you spray your coffee and banana. It's just like fertilizer, but it's organic microbes get into your plant, right? So those are the
Mm-hmm.
things that I want to push, right? So those are what I have there right now, right, in the field. As I said, I want to do some pimento, and I have about 400 plants order that should be in the ground this year. But going back to the farm, and the, it's very important that you know the banana that I carry is called Fia banana and Fia plantain. Now, there's a reason why I went with Fia and Fia plantain. You have to protect yourself. So the average man now come teeth the Fia banana. So one, they're
Mm-hmm.
close to 100 pounds. Two, nobody now write them and take a long time to write, right? So they're only designed for boiling and chip, right? So that's
Okay.
what those products are for. Same thing for the plantain.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you got the livestock,
Yes,
which
that's
is
yeah,
just pig, right? Pig and goat right now.
yeah. Pigs is established already. We have our system in place for that. We're doing very well. The key thing is staffing. That's what will let me go up and down. And then I got into goat as of January 15, and I have to give out a shout out to Mr. Stanley, who allowed me to get into the goat by we made arrangement with the goat, and then we have yourself down there. I talked to a little bit. You didn't know exactly what I was doing, but Lincoln and a gentleman named Benjamin Chimo. I got some background on how to deal with the goat, and they're doing well. So we have about 12 12 she goat, and we have a ram that we graded ram. These are all graded goat, and
Mhm.
a little bit of background about the goat. I found out they come from Terrence, coming from his
Okay.
facility, and the ram that I have is from Mackie, right? And he's a graded ram.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Oh, so how many pigs you have?
I have 25 sows, right?
Mhm.
And those sows can produce anywhere from if I go with the rules of weaning every 6 weeks, right? I can get easily 400 to 500 piglets a year based on my past record.
Okay.
So right now, to answer your question, I have
Mhm.
130 Wieners on board, and then 25 sows.
Okay. So yeah. So let's get into your production system. How do you? What kind of production system do you run with the pigs? Because you just started with the goat. So let's talk about the pigs because you and I have had many conversations about production systems, and I know that you do a very efficient system. They
Okay.
like utilize space and time in an
Mhm,
efficient manner. So if
mhm.
you want to just explain to our viewers and listeners, how do you go about setting up your production system and how it works?
Okay. What I'm about to say, it's what worked for my farm, which is called McCook Farm, right? And
Hmm.
before I get into it, I have to give some shout out to the people that instilled the knowledge in me, and I'm
Hmm.
implementing it. Starting from Dr. Ryan, vet on the go, right?
Hmm.
Starting from Nutrimix, Dr. Patrick Craig, and Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Dr. Williams was in the mix, but them shipped him down to Westmoreland side, right?
Hmm.
And then my most current doctor, Dr. Rosalie Morgan, right? Those are the people that I work with. So let's talk about my production system, right? It's pretty simple, right? We know that each animal gestation is 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. It's all what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So I go on a 6 weeks weaning, right? So therefore, when this animal we go through the process, you introduce them to the bar, uh, Nutrimix come in and check that they're pregnant. You do everything, feed them properly. So the key thing for me is 2.5 pregnancy in a year and a half, or a 2.5 drop in a year and a half, right? If I
Okay.
wean them at 6 weeks, right?
Mhm.
Some people wean them earlier, some people wean them later. My method is 6 weeks. So this way, when I wean at 6 weeks, I have a 18 to 25 pounds weaner, right? So also prior to that, nutrition is very important, right? What I do, I make sure pack on the feeding while they're in the gestation mode, right?
Yeah.
7 pounds of feeding per day, and then 2 weeks before um they give birth, I deworm them, and then I throw in the lactation to help with the milk production. While they're farrowing for the 6 weeks, the mother get 9 pounds of feeding. So the reason I'm going back to this is it's
9 pounds
very
of feeding
important.
per day.
9 pounds of feeding per day,
Okay.
right? Reason I'm going into this because it's very important. Because remember, I wean at 6 weeks. So within 2 to 3 days after they're weaned, the mother come back in to eat, right? And then bang,
Mhm.
you put them out. You don't have to worry about conditioning of the animal because you've been maintaining that throughout the process. Out of all the animals that I have, sometimes I take off maybe six and say, okay, I'm gonna let you get fattened up for 18 days, and then within 18 to 21 days, they come back and to eat. So that is my production. This is how I produce my animals.
Okay, so you said that you do 6 weeks to weaning, right?
Hmm.
And some people do
That is
less.
correct.
Some
Yes.
people do less. What is the benefits and what are the pros and the cons for each?
Okay. Uh, for me, the 6 weeks is that. Why? Okay, let's start with the 4 week. In the
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks, I'll be giving them. All right, it's not everybody does this, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing called pre-starter that has is just like a llama and ram we give for creeper, right? Which is more expensive. So if at 4 weeks you have to use more of that product to feed your animal at a more expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you wait 6 weeks, who's feeding your animal? The mother with all that milk that she has, right? And you're using less pre-starter to get them. So therefore, what I have at 6 weeks is a heavier animal that can go to the market because remember, my animal is based on the pounds, right? So right now, my cost per weaner is up to $350 a pound. So if I wean them earlier, I'm going to get less weight. And they may not take the pre-starter and convert that into weight as quickly as you would with the milk, right? And
Got it.
if I'm wrong, any vet out there can jump in and correct me, right? Because I have some vet probably listening right now, and tomorrow morning or Monday morning, I say, Mr. McCook, this part, sound too right, but based on my knowledge with them,
Uh, are
that's
you
what
basing
works.
this on your knowledge or your records?
Based it on record. Okay, I haven't done the 4 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but I have done the 6 weeks. But
Okay.
theoretically, it should
Mm-hmm.
work, and it's a cheaper animal.
Well, I understand the cost part of it. I don't know anything about pig and them things, but I understand the cost part that you mentioned. And you mentioned that you give ram and lamb.
Okay, let's back up. I was just using a comparison. So like
Oh,
for example, use lamb and ram for your young kid when you're doing your creeper feed. Am I
yeah,
correct?
that's a product that Nutrimix sells, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't use
That's
that
why
for my goat. I don't use that for my pigs.
you don't.
I do not use that for my pigs. I was
Oh,
just
okay.
trying to give you a comparison. Uh,
Comparison. Okay. Okay. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So at weaning, you sell weaners to the market. You don't
Yes.
butcher.
No, I
So
don't.
what is your market weight for these wieners?
Ray, knock on wood, and I thank the Father upstairs to help me. I haven't much going to fatteners because I can't even keep up with the demand of the wieners. Right now, all those wieners, 40 of them is sold already, and the rest is mine. And this is where I want to make a comment. I just want to let you know, as of next month, I'll be expanding down into the Trelawney area. And the reason why I'm doing a test pilot down there, I'm trying to um, reach that market that everybody said, hey, Mr. McCook, you're too far. You can't come so far to buy a pig. You got to meet me halfway. So I have a partner in this project, and the ink is not dry yet, but he gave me permission to talk about it.
Hmm.
We are going to be doing fattener's pig down in Trelawney to service that side of the market. So it's something that we haven't got into before, but we're trying to do about 150 fatteners pig down there and test out that market. And the facility that I have down there, if we do everything right, we probably can do 300 fatteners down there.
Okay. And those animals are going to process. That's the
Those will
plan.
be that's going for process. But if
Okay.
somebody come along, Ray, we're
Hmm.
business people. And if we got to move the animal, we move them. We don't sit on the product, right?
Okay.
It may not be the revenue that we're expecting, but based on our costing, we will do well.
Okay. You see this message from Dr. Young.
Oh
When
boy,
you, you wean when the piglet eats creep feed enough that they can be separated from mom and transition easily. They need to be eating on their own very
that
well.
is that is correct.
That's correct. Um, what breed of pig do you have on the farm?
F1s,
F1s. F1s meaning.
mixture of large white and landrace. From my understanding, these pigs come from Bogle's Research Center.
Okay, got it. Um, so let's talk about your structure of the farm because you're in Canada
Yes,
and you have people on the ground, right?
that's correct. That is
How do you
correct.
how do you structure the tasks that need to be done on the farm, all the different things that that needs to be done? How many people do you have working there, and how do you structure it?
At the present, I have six. Sorry, I have five. I need six. It consists of a supervisor
Mm-hmm.
and four field worker. Right? I'm sorry, four field worker. Yes, and then if there's a special project that needed, I contracted out whether this guy want to take 1 week to do it. Well, normally I give them a time limit and say I need this done in a certain amount of time and give me a price, and I set it out. But I'm fully involved in everything on the farm on a day-to-day basis. I have video meeting with my key guys every day. Sorry, twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, because I get report. I follow up with what they're doing by videos. I know the farm, as we said, like my back on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're being descriptive about what they have done and where they are, I know I can visualize it in the back of my head, right? So we do those assignments. But I must tell you, Ray, you cannot run a farm, and this is some of the things that farmers, and you already know that. I have support team, okay? People I did not mention in this, I talk about the vets already, right? I talk about Dr. Patrick, Mr. Hamilton, Dr. Ryan, Rosalie Morgan, because without them, I don't exist, right? Then on that side of the field now, I have from the coffee board, um, Mr. Brian, right? I have from the banana board, Mr. Edwards and Mr. Lewis. And I have from the RADA, I have Mr. Grant. So all these people are available to help you. And if you set up your structure, when they go in, they just don't look. They come in and they tell me when I'm coming. So we have a criteria where they give me a report, and the report is based on what they see in the field. Just like in the pigs, I have Dr. Rosalie, when she come in, she gave me a report. What's going on with the goat? What's going on with the pig? What's going with the dog? Because I have German Shepherd. That's part of the farm too, right? And same thing for the Nutrimix vet. They give you a report. So you know if things are not right. And then I am top of things. In the piggery, I have 18 cameras. Around the yard, I have another 8 cameras, right? So these cameras is always recording. And if certain areas at the farm, and this is no secret, because I tell my employee that, right? Because I don't want them to get in trouble. You go in this area, I get a buzzing, I get an alarm, right? You're not supposed to be there, right? You go into the feeding room, why are you there, right? So you have to put the system in place to, to manage your farm, being here in Canada like I am.
Yeah, I agree. That's the most important thing is to put um, the pieces in place so you can monitor things remotely.
That's right. And then other system we have in place, and I'm sharing this because other farmers need to do this. You spend a lot of money on your equipment. You do a weekly inventory. I know how much feeding should be used this week because my mom, she goes in and she does that inventory with the feeding. I plug it in. I know how much they feed a day. It's no guesswork how much we feed a day, right? And how I come up with these numbers for the feeding, again, Nutrimix, I talked to Dr. Patrick. A lot of recommendation there. And he may say animal needs 6 pounds for this, but based on what I want to do, I may increase it to 7 pounds. Look, for grow pigs, we need for them to get 2 pounds of weight per day, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not giving them 7 pounds, 6 to 7 pounds of feeding a day, you're not going to achieve your target. I can produce an animal in 4 months based on my genetic if I feed properly, right? But one of the issues, if you feed, depends on how they convert the feeding into fat or into muscles and stuff like that. Some animal convert very well, but these F1, they do very good job at it. So within 4 or 5 months, my pigs are ready for market. 180 pounds to 240 pounds, depends on the conversion of the feeding.
Wow. So what do you use to keep your records, if you don't mind me asking?
Not as extensive as yours. I'm still reviewing yours, and I still need somebody with a bit of computer savvy to implement yours. So it's pretty simple. A spreadsheet.
Okay.
Spreadsheet for the feeding.
Mm-hmm.
Nutrimix provide me with documentation for the pigs. For example, it tells you about who's the father, when did we put them out, and then we have a chart there, pretty low tech. So we put one out like all my sows right now is pregnant, right? All of them, right? So we have a chart there that tells you we go to they goes to the to be serviced today. So we service within, we try to catch them within the first 42 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 12 hours apart. One of the things that my guys do, I'm elaborating on stuff that you said because I have an opportunity now to tell people what I learned from my vets, the people them that I use as mentor. One guy I didn't mention, and I want to big him up, Mr. Senior, Oral Senior from Bogle. Me and him talk once a week. He's on holiday right now, but he has a wealth of knowledge, right? So you have to use these people to benefit where you want. So going back to what I'm saying now, um, I lost my thought there, Ray. What were you saying before
No, you
that?
were talking about the structures and the people and the record keeping and all that.
Okay, so the record keeping there, what we do there is use Nutrimix one. I think I was saying something to the sort, but I forgot.
You said
But anyway,
Nutrimix provide you
yes,
with
with
a
the
record
chart.
keeping the chart. Yeah.
Yes, and we do that, and we filled out, we document the when the animals give birth, their weight. 2 weeks later, we document the weight to make sure the weight is progressive based on what our program is, what we're looking for.
Oh. So you input this data, or it's done on the farm?
It's done on the farm. I'm here in Canada. They just send it to me every week.
Okay.
Yeah, they send it to me every week.
Well, I mean, record keeping. We keep harping on it. Record keeping. You can't manage what you don't know.
Yeah, in this farming, when you have animal, I'm going to tell my fellow farmer, there's no such thing as buck up. You can't go in the field and see a goat having baby. You must know when that goat is having baby. I
Well,
can't.
there is surprises. We've been surprised a couple times, but
Yeah, I
but
was
you
going to
should
get.
you shouldn't have all 10 goats that you expect. They shouldn't be having kids out in the
Okay,
field or unprepared, unexpected, right? Yeah.
yeah. Give you an example. Last night, 9:30 in the night, we have a beautiful mother. She's a high litter pig. She gave birth to 14. But one of her problem is when the pig born, She's ready to rip them apart. Right. So if we're not on top of it, then we'll lose all those piglets. So we know that in the morning milk was coming down. We know that she didn't give birth throughout the day. So between 9 and the next morning, guess what? This animal's going to give birth. So our structure is that, our system is that every hour you go down to the pen. Remember, I'm paying you. So you're going down to the pen, right? And they go down to the pen, they check. Guess what? Mother rip apart one animal. Later on, we knew that mother what she does. So what we did was we get a box and we put some hay inside of it. We take the young ones, and once the mother settled down, no, before the mother settled down, we make sure all those babies suck till they're full and stop. And we had to do that till 2:30 in the morning. The mother didn't settle down till 5 o'clock, right? So you have to do these things when you know your animal, and you got to be prepared. I talked to the Nutrimix vet today, both Dr. Rosalie and Dr. Patrick and Mr. Hamilton said I may have to put down the animal, but I may give her another chance because when you have an
I was
animal,
I was just gonna ask you if you have an animal that is that dysfunctional, I will put it. Then
is,
what
well,
is the does the risk of keeping her, is it worth it?
okay, let's put it this way. It's not too many animals that can give you 14 pigs, and each one of them is over 3 pounds and close to 4 pounds, right?
How many times
Num
she's give? How many times she dropped for you already?
three,
And how many times out of the three she did the same thing? Start
um,
ripping up the
all,
pigs.
I lose one by the time we get there. But here's a success story.
Hmm.
She gave me 30, no, 42, 30, yeah, 47 animals. And out of the 47, because I had to look this up because I was talking to Mr. Hamilton and Dr. Morgan today.
And they're
And
telling you
I
to get
was,
rid of her.
yeah, and I looked at it and said, nah, what I'm going to do next time, I'm going to make that far cage so tight that she can't twist, right? And keep her more restrained. Basically, that's what I'm going to do. Because when you get 40, 45 animal out of a animal, that's a very, very good. And especially the weight is over 3 pounds, right? And Dr. Young and whoever vet out there is listening, they can tell you when an animal have 15, 16, chances are they're tiny, a pound and a half, 2 pounds, right? So we weigh all our wieners when they born the next day. We don't do this that night, but 12 hours later when we're doing the iron and clipping the teeth and the navel, we weigh them for record keeping.
Okay. Good luck. But I would say good luck because you've been doing it. You guys been doing it, but man, it seems like I would have put that pig down. I'd be like, I'm kind of deal with you and your aggressive, dysfunctional behavior.
Yeah, I hear your
Okay.
story. You have a goat down there, keep on ramming everybody. So did you put her down yet?
No, because Lincoln won't let me.
All right, okay.
But the difference is she's not eating her kids. She's not killing her
Yeah,
kids. She just keep
yeah.
other goats away, so like we can manage that. But
We lost three from her. That's not a bad number.
yeah, okay. What about the manuals that you got to use to stalker?
That's a given. Once you have animal, remember that's your investment. On a serious note,
Hmm.
yeah, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. You got to put in the time. If it costs you an extra half a week wage, then you pay it because you're going to make it back, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
The first
High
week.
production animal too, right?
Exactly. The first, and
Hmm.
not just for her, even the animal that give me eight, right? Because you can't predict all these things. You do everything right. You get them to the board within the first 42 hours. When they're on eat and they're on standing eat, you get the big boy down there to do his job, all right? And 12 hours later, you do it again. another 12 hours, day hours, you do it again. We do it 3 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you do all that and you feed them all that feed, you have to spend the time to do what's right. And it's working out. Ray, let's put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
If I start the expansion here today, at the end of the year, I'll make money.
Got
Okay?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm hoping that people here, because I'm taking a lot from you when it comes to efficiency and the discipline and all that stuff. And I have a goat operation, not a pig operation. So all the people on here that are doing pigs or even doing goats or whatever, you got to take notes. You guys got to take notes because I've had several conversations with Peter, and efficiency and record keeping and not guessing on what's going on your farm is imperative. You have to know what's going on. You can't manage what you don't know. I say it all the time.
Exactly.
Can't
Exactly.
manage what you don't know.
I hate to tell you this, but on my farm, I have to micromanage. I don't like manage like that. Um, I
Anything that
know
happens in Jamaica, you have to micromanage.
that's my point because staffing is a heck of a thing in Jamaica.
You
Lincoln,
go ahead.
go ahead. Lincoln can tell you. I go through about last 3 years, no word of a lie, at least 8 key person. The last one I
Yeah.
let go was 2 weeks ago, right? Before I promote Mr. Brown, right?
Hmm.
This is a key guy. Um, Look at the camera, and Ray, I don't hide the cameras. I tell him the camera is there to protect them and protect my investment. The guy's lying on his back at 1:30 in the afternoon. I call him up and say, buddy, what you doing? I'm just taking a rest. Mr. Bossman, you got up on break from 12 to 1 o'clock already, right? You're my key guy. So if you're lying on your back, what am I supposed to do? So, you have to be careful. So, diplomatically, I talk to him. He's off on the weekend, send him home, tell him that I'm fumigating the room because I give them a place to live, right?
Hmm.
Take everything out and just make a call and say, boss, man, you're done, And if I need to pay them, if they're there for a month, then I do the right thing. I pay them the 2 weeks extra. If they're on a month, you don't have to pay them nothing, right?
Yeah. Trust me, the workers thing, it's nonstop. You know what I mean. This was last week we let one go because our schedule don't work for him, and his schedule don't work for us.
Exactly.
He
Exactly.
can either can just take off when he wants. He doesn't even call and say he's not coming in. He call him
Exactly.
co-worker and tell them co-worker, "Oh, I can't make it." And the co-worker
Hmm.
come and
Hmm.
say, "Oh, I'm not coming." I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
enough of that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just, and you gotta keep telling them the same thing over and over and over and over, and it
Hmm.
gets tiring. But you have to micromanage because they will run
Yeah,
out the clock.
you have no choice. You have no choice. Don't, okay, let's back up a bit. I don't want
Mhm.
farmers out there thinking, oh man, everything is peachy and Peter McCook farm. No, it's not. There's times when it's just my mother and somebody else there on the farm because I don't put up with foolishness. I'm not going to pay a guy and I'm not going to get the result, right? So all my farm is set up. Once the livestock is good, I have somebody to clean the pen. I remember Mr. Hamilton come there one day and said, Mr. McCook, no water in about the place because my standard is all gone, right? The
Mhm.
pen is filthy. I said, Mr. Hamilton, boy, uh, now I'm a worker and the people don't want to do what I'm supposed to do, right? But once I get the workers, standard come back. I will not sacrifice standard, right? You can't smell my pig pen when you pull up to my farm. A lot of people say, where's a pig pen? They said that building just on the bottom there. And they're amazed, right?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know, what I mean, it's when you set a certain standard for your operation and certain things, certain tasks that has to be done, you can't take nothing less, right?
That,
And
that is correct.
and it's hard to get people who to commit to all the tasks and get it done in a timely manner and don't take shortcuts. Shortcuts is my
Hmm.
biggest pet peeve.
Biggest
when
pet
they
peeve.
when they take shortcuts and then you have to go correct it 2 days later
Oh
or a
my
month
goodness.
later, and it just keep costing you time and resources.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's my
You know
biggest pet peeve.
that.
I'm gonna tell you, my grandmother tell me, "Oh, shortcut bring blood in the virgin. Shortcut bring blood. Do not take a
Hey,
shortcut."
listen. You truly have to understand we are saying a big man. So stop speaking patois. All right.
Yo, she's laughing over there. No, man, I think I'm teaching her well. You know what I mean? Certain terms, she just laugh at me because she never heard it before. Like the
Yeah. All
coconut.
right.
I say,
Yeah.
coconut, nice. She's like, it's
Yeah.
coconut. Nobody doesn't say coconut. I'm like, trust me. The right word is coconut.
And orange. All
Orange.
those things.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
um,
so let's get on the business side of the farm, right? So you sell your wieners.
yes.
You sell wieners. How do you go about creating a market for your wieners?
You know what? You're not gonna believe it. Um, I didn't have to. The first year it was hard. But when you have a facility like yours or mine, people come and they can't believe, and it's just mouth of word, and people just pre-order. As I told you,
Hmm.
if I wanted all those animals gone today, I would have made them available. But because we're doing that new project down in Trelawney, Clarkstown,
Yeah.
I reserve for them. And also, what I'm doing, I have 50, sorry, I have 10 pence that I can do fatteners to. So you have to know your market. So I did very well last year, October, November. So I'm starting to save some animals to put in those pens for fattener. And so I'm kind of saying, I'm not selling all. So if I have, say, 150 born, I'll sell 40 and I'll keep 50, 100 for myself, right?
Hmm.
By putting them in the pen. So I'm getting ready for the September sale and the October sale, right? Try not to have any animals selling in December and January because those are your low times, all right?
So
So
are
I'm,
you thinking, I know you're expanding to the fattener market. Are you thinking of also expanding on the operation here in St. Mary?
I did already, but I can't even fill up with animal because I'm selling them out. People's buying the wiener.
So what about you don't keep no replacement sows?
No, okay, let's talk about that, right? It's very important that you keep, I don't use my stock as replacement, right?
Okay.
So I ordered 10 replacement coming in April because those replacement going to take at least 7 months to get online. I
Hmm.
don't breed my animal till they're about 220 to 250 pounds. And this is the reason for this is this. Okay. You're asking a pig to carry 14, could carry 14 animal. So if the animal is 180 pounds, how is that? You know how much stress you're going to put on that animal? So you have to wait till the animal is over 8 months or 220 to 240 pounds before you put them out to the boar. So I order those animal. So those animal will come and then, right now all the 24, 25 animals that I have there, the sows, they're doing very well. I don't see any replacing them yet. And as I spoke to Dr. Patrick, when do you replace an animal? When an animal is not producing. So I don't see any signs there yet, but I'm preparing myself just in case,
Okay.
So that's what I do for replacement. I go outside and bring them in, and I go to the research center and I have access to Nutrimix, but I haven't explored that yet.
I'm sure Dr. Young or Dr. Patrick will be urging you to take
They are.
advantage of
Dr.
their research
Dr.
facility.
Pratchett is.
Okay, so here's a question for you, and I know you love this question. What are your target margins? How do you manage costs to ensure that you can make a profit and cover overhead? How do you figure your break even point? And this question is coming from Dwayne Cameron. Dwayne, you're getting a call tomorrow from us. And if
Okay.
you want to geek out on numbers and spreadsheet and
No,
stuff, this
I'm not.
guy,
No, I'm
this
not
guy,
gonna.
Dwayne will break everything down for you.
Okay.
He is highly skilled and he will simplify it so you don't have to stress about it. He's like, yo, just
Okay.
do XYZ. He can do the back end stuff for you. But he's an amazing guy and
Okay.
he runs a goat farm. He has a goat farm in St. Mary here down by
Oh,
Robbins Bay area. You know Dwayne.
yeah. I
And
don't know him. Hmm.
yeah, but yeah, he's I think he geeks out on spreadsheet. I told him
All
that. So
right.
it's nothing derogatory. I'm
All
very
right.
impressed with his knowledge. So if you can
Yeah.
address this question from him, that would be great.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't always like this. I was a very secretive guy, and I met some guy named Lincoln, and he keep on
And he call you a
pestering
secret
me.
agent. He call you a
Uh,
secret agent.
oh gosh, the guy keep on pestering me and said, Lincoln, people's getting killed in this market, and I don't know you, Dwayne, but you're going to owe me a red stripe light when I'm done with this conversation, right? I think I'm gonna, and other pig farmers may not like what I'm about to say, right? If you take, and seriously, you guys can take a pen and paper. I already gave you the numbers. If you take how you break down your cost of your animal, there's a difference between capital costs and costs of your animal. I hear Mark, I hear people talk about it. I think they're all wrong, right? The market can only pay for what it can afford, not what you determine. All right. So your job is to figure out what is the cost of that animal. My belief is this, and this is my philosophy. From the day of conception, I start tracking the feeding. So 7 pounds straight up for 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. Right? Then you figure that cost. Um, you also take the variables that you put in there. You have 2 weeks of lactation. That's a different cost, right? And then you had the 9 pounds that you feed for the 6 pounds. Now, so you had all those numbers up, and then you look at the number. Creeper feed less than 5 pounds for the 6 weeks. And then going into the third and fourth week, I'm going to eat a lot more. All right. So you get a more, they eat from the mother, they eat from out the creeper trap. Right. The thing is, if you have a sow that produces 14 animals, guess what? Your cost is going to be very low, less than $1,000. If an animal produce 9 animal, you're looking about $900, right? So think about that. So guys are selling a wiener for $1,400, $1,300. I'm looking you straight in the eye and tell you that's highway robbery, right? You
Yeah.
can do better.
Uh,
You can do better than that. Knowing that
yeah.
your cost is $700 to $1,200, come on. And you're calling me a bad guy? I'm not calling out anybody. All I'm saying to you, if we're going to drive this market and keep the price down, we have to be real to ourselves. And anybody want to challenge me on that? Work out the numbers numerous times. Your animal that you have there is your capital cost. So if you're running a business, you write that off at the end of the year. You depreciate them. So the animals that I'm getting in, the 10 animals, that going to go into my capital costs. Once I am costing out the animal, and I believe the same thing goes for goat. Some people say, "I will sell this the goat yourself." No, once the ram go to that goat and you confirm conception, that's when your costs start.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
that
I hope everybody took notes because I've heard this spiel before, and I never challenge it because it is correct.
And I need to make another note. So when I sell my wieners for $8,500, I am covering my costs of how I run my facility. Do not
Mhm.
compare me with a guy that feed water grass to their pigs. Do not compare me to a man who take breadcrumbs, corn, and doesn't even have the common sense to realize that the corn in the feed need to be crushed for the animal to have proper nutrition. You see the whole corn in the feed. Guys, don't focus on making your own feeding. You have two beautiful feeding companies in Jamaica do an excellent job. Okay. My preference is Nutrimix. That's simple as that. I don't make feeding. I don't feed my animal those things. All right. So when you come and I say my price is $8,500, it is $8,500. At 6 weeks, if you buy more than 10, you get it for 8, right? And as the feeding go up, the price go up. As medication go up, the price goes up.
Well, I mean, I'm happy you say that because right now, with the fluctuation, I don't think it's fluctuating, it just keep going up. Cost of feed, I mean, it has to reflect in the cost of the product, which
That's
is the animal, right?
that is
And
correct.
I don't think because people don't really educate their consumers or their customers on what's going on. People just think the price of an animal should stay the same for 2 3 years, but I mean, everything else is going up.
That is correct.
I mean, the price has to go up. I
That is
mean,
correct.
yeah, in the goat business, people just price animal to how they feel. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
for us, we know what the cost is. We know, exactly what it's costing us to produce that animal, and we know what our desired profit margin is, so we don't
yes.
kill people, and we know we can cover expenses and
Mm-hmm.
make a little thing if we have to and grow the business.
Exactly.
You
You
know.
got to maintain your structure.
Hmm.
Yeah, pipe break. Well, for you, I always have pipe break. The nipples are expensive.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, and for me, it's a reason why I could sell my animals cheaper, but I will not sacrifice the cleanliness, the sanitation. Um, I spent close to $25,000 a month on just different things to keep my facility clean, right?
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Hmm. It's
And
not cheap.
especially when the staff doesn't use it properly, then you have a problem there. So
Our
somebody say,
problem
yeah,
repairs and yeah, you know.
exactly. I bring
No,
a
trust me, we get the same thing where I wash my goat house and people are like, "Hey, it's a goat house. Why you need to do that? Just brush it out or
it's
whatever." I'm
a
like,
reflection in you.
yeah, we need it to be a certain way. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Because I like to hang out over there.
Yeah,
I like to go over there and sit and watch the animals and hang out with
yeah.
the animals. Like, the North Lounge is my new hangout spot.
There you go.
Yeah, if they just could stop eating my clothes, then
That's
that would make it a little more comfortable. But they
yeah.
love to come and gnaw my clothes. But yeah, comfort. The
Hmm.
environment should be comfortable, clean, and it reflects on your product.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know. Okay, so you break down the cost for us, right? Now, you say you don't do any marketing; it's all word of mouth.
Well, I started to do marketing, as you can see last week, because I'm expanding into Trelawney. I can't be in the closet anymore. I got to get out there, let people know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln doesn't even know this, so this is a shock to him. Chimo doesn't even know this, right? I think I may have mentioned it briefly to them, but and I have a partner down there, and I'm looking forward to work with them. And I didn't ask him if I could give his name online tonight, so I'm not going to mention who he is.
Okay.
And I have to make sure everybody know who we are and what quality we have, the things that we do. And as I talked to one of the vet today and the vet assistant, and they point out some of the shortcomings that we did in those videos, and we will correct them. We will correct them, but this is what we do on our farm based on the guidance of these beautiful people that I call them my mentors, right? They may not know that, but they're my mentors. They have a world of knowledge. Why am I going to try to do everything my own? I shut my brain off and I pick their brain.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't, as I tell people all the time, we're not inventing nothing new. We're
No.
just using what's there already, retrofitted to what we would like, and the basics and the foundation of it. People
Mm-hmm.
been doing it forever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just adjust it to how we want our system run. Let's do
Exactly.
this. Let's take some questions from our
Okay.
loyal viewers and participants, the family, because we talk to these people day in day out, as you know. And
Yes.
so, people, shoot some questions to Mr. McCool, as Trudy calls him. I think that name stuck because everybody
Yeah, it
started
is.
calling him Mr. McCool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take some questions for him. Let's shoot some questions at him. Let's see how open he is willing to be on this live tonight. Let me see if I find any questions here. Um, ooh, Trudy just turned back on the light. Thought I was being intimate over here.
Oh
My
boy.
light just died.
Oh
My
boy.
Trudy beauty light. The battery don't last that long. I'm gonna have to bring my own production lights and plug it in. What's your plan for the goats?
Okay. And, hopefully my wife asleep right now. Um, as of this coming week, we're building a structure. It is 10 by 40. All right.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not doing it like how everybody do it. It's going to be raised. It's going to be open. I look at your facility and I got this idea from you. I'm going to do slots. So
Hmm.
it's going to be an open area. So if I need to take one goat and put aside,
Yeah.
I just take a 4x4 slot and a 4x5, put some screws in, and I have one compartment and I have a complete big area for the rest of them to run. That's how I decide to do it. So the guy who is building it today, thanks to Mr. Rossi, he got me somebody at a reasonable price. He's
Hmm.
coming up to the farm tomorrow and they start working Monday. So they tell me that they can get it done in 4 days. So they want to say this, but then I know who them I deal with. They think so they can put one screw in a board and tell me say them done, they're gonna have a sad mistake. Not to say that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very particular.
As we talk about shortcuts, right? Yo, let me
Yes.
give you a little joke. I have a running joke on my farm. Like, we'll hang a gate and the hinge has
Hmm.
8 holes,
Yep.
4 on each side.
Hmm.
And the man's them decide to only put 4 screws in it.
Okay. You're
So
lucky.
I'm like, dude, like there's a reason the manufacturer put 8 holes
Hmm.
because he knew the stress level the hinge supposed to take. When you
Yep.
put 4 in it, 2 on each side, the one that falls off or the goat them buck it off. They know
Exactly.
the man them will build it, know that it's supposed to take 8 screws,
Hmm.
four
Hmm.
on each
Hmm.
side. That's how it's
Hmm.
supposed to work. But
That's correct.
yeah, they just do what they want. Okay, somebody else asked, do you castrate?
No, I used to, but I find there's a market for boars because we have quality animal. So people come and buy boars from us, right? So what I do, as I illustrate on the weaning today, they're
Hmm.
all grouped together. And then when they reach certain age, I separate the male and the female. So I have that market so I can sell uh, quality boar.
Okay. And another question: do you think the same structure with your pig farm can be implemented with the goats? I think you answered that already. You're building a goat
Yes,
pen.
yes. 100%. Same principle, but I have people like you, I have people like Lincoln, I have people like Benjamin and the vets to pick their brain. And I think I'll be just as successful with the goat. And I'm not stopping there. The goat that I have on board now is just warm ups for me to know the do and don'ts. I plan on increase, not as big as you, but I'm hoping to 50 to 75 mother goat and a
Mm-hmm.
very intensive feeding program. Because and then if the banana and the plantain and the coffee doesn't go, I go into just let them in it and let them feed because I have
Mm-hmm.
25 acres.
Yeah, I would suggest you build a structured grazing system.
Okay. Say that
Because
again,
if you,
please.
I said, if you're gonna let them in there, build a structured grazing system because they'll keep going back to the same spot.
Yeah, but that's down the road if
Yeah, yeah.
that
Don't
doesn't
do it.
place.
Yeah, if that happens, if you have to send them out, just keep that
Yes.
in mind. Do you use water from a nearby river or government
Mm,
water?
boy, oh boy, that's my biggest cost right now. I'm in a very remote area. We get no water from the government. I'm even willing to run the pipe up to the main and still can't get them to budge. So I truck in water. So I use rainwater with chlorine. I check the pH level on it on a regular base, and I bring in water. Um, October, no, November, December, January, February, I get a break from the water. I have close to 20,000 gallon of storage, and I still have to bring in water.
Yo, you got enough rain to this week. This week, you
Oh
should.
yeah, but guess what? We're bringing the water Monday when the rain will come and rain fall Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I
Yeah,
could have beat myself, but
yeah.
and the
All today,
animal,
rain. Yeah.
but the animal, you can't. Each pig take 5 gallons of water a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I do the vitamin, I have a system. I have two 45-gallon drum where I set up and I put my vitamins in. So I do the whole system, right?
Okay.
So, so you have to have water for these animals. And I wash every day. I used to wash twice a day, but the water expense get too high. I wash and I bathe every single pig every day, except for the weaners that is just born.
Mm. Man, we can start hanging out in your pig pen.
You can. I drink
Yeah.
a coffee in there.
Okay. Next question: do you deliver?
Um, I have a guy. He's very reasonable, and he does all my delivery for me and pickups. Let's put it this way: it's cheaper than me buying a pickup and put on the farm a year when I look at the calculation with this guy. So I do
Okay.
deliver, but based on arrangement with this gentleman.
Okay. How do you handle the waste? It's a pit or lagoons.
Um, okay. And I glad we went back to that because I felt I'm not talking about my being organic. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So the waste, the liquid goes into a pit. I have a 75 by 75 by 100 pit dog pack for the waste for the liquid. The feces, we catch it at 5 buckets, 20-liter bucket every morning. And then a guy goes into the field and 2 foot from each root of a plant, you dig one fork hole and put a little bit of feces in there and just use them for to cover it up. Within 2 to 3 months, that feces break down and become fertilizer for my plant. So I dispose of all of the feces in the plant. And now that I have goat, what I've been doing, I have about 1,000 feeding bags, 2,000 feeding bags, Nutrimix feeding bags. So we pack all the feces for the goat and the trimmings, the leaves and stuff like that in the bag. And we have an area that we stock them. And within 3 to 4 months, those should break down and those are now fertilizer. So that's goes in line with my organic farm and goes in like with Mr. Prince Avey Grower's Choice that I use is organic fertilizer to enhance what I have there, because although using natural fertilizer, when you plant something, you need a little boost. So Growers Choice Organic fertilizer company, I work with them.
Okay. Um, we're gonna have to talk about the organic fertilizer. 'Cause Trudy wants to use organic fertilizers or thing for her garden and stuff.
Okay, so I'll forward Prince Avery number to you guys, and you guys can talk to him. Okay.
Yeah. Here's another question. Do you think the locals mixed are more stronger than a straight purebred?
I'm not in that level to do a comparison. I'll leave that up to you, TJ Lincoln. I'm just getting into it. What I do know and what my research saw, I want to breed a goat. And I have this conversation with you already. In
Yeah.
6 months, if he's not having 80 pounds, then that's what I'm looking for. 80 to 90 pounds, send him to the butcher. That's my fault. So to answer your question, I leave that to yourself, Lincoln, TJ, to answer that.
For me, the goat business is when you go into meat, it's a volume game. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Because for the most part, most people don't have a structured genetic pool on their farm,
Mm-hmm.
except for a selective few that's just stuck with purebred or full blood animals, so they know the genetic structure and what they can get out of that herd, right? The the graded animals, the genetic pool is so mixed up and whatever, so you don't really have an equal, daily gain across the board on all animals. It's just all over the place. So then it has to become a numbers thing, a volume thing, until you build up to it, where you know that you're gonna get a daily gain of, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.6, zero point 0.8, or even a pound. I haven't seen a pound yet. But if you cull and select breeding accordingly over maybe 5 years, you can have a graded herd that will give you that type of daily gain, right? But then you still need the volume to be able to supply on a meat basis. There's two models of doing meat, because we've been thinking hard about this and doing some research. And there is the conventional way of people thinking of, selling to a hotel or whatever it is, restaurant or whatever. And then there is the CSA model where you have selected, selective, selected people that buys from you, whether it's 20, 25, and they know that every month they're going to get, a good cut of goat meat, quality goat meat, not old goat, you know what I mean? And they know they'll get, if they want the rump, if they want neck, if they want just the curry section, they can get it. You can develop a customer base, and they know they're going to get, what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They get a managed water pack, they get all that, what I mean? And they consistently buy from you. And you just go, you bring their box or whatever it is, and you give it to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they can pay you online. They can whatever. That is a thing that farmers can develop. They don't have to think about the big, massive, supply mega mart or supply, what I mean, progressive or a
And
hotel or
that's
none. You don't have to think on that level.
and that's what I'm going after.
Yeah, you're going after progressive and hotel and them.
No, 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 no.
No,
The
oh,
other
you're trying to
kind.
create a customer base that is know that they're gonna get quality meat from you, and they're gonna get they will get some coffee in it, and then we'll get a nice cut of pig, and we'll get a nice cut of pig, and you know what I mean, and maybe two jelly will cut nice and shrink wrap, and them box nice, and they get that every month, or they may want it every 2 weeks. I don't know, you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm saying to farmers, that is another model you can look at, and it's
Yeah,
not so grand, it's not so far fetched. You know what I
exactly.
mean? You can structure that
Inexpensive.
from, yeah, inexpensive. You can structure that from 25 goats.
Exactly.
You
That's
know what
what
I
I'm
mean?
going. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know what I
listen.
mean?
I just want to add another revenue to my farm. So if one area goes down, hey, listen. Nobody's going to buy. It's not the market. If somebody come buy a $120 and $80 goat, is
Hmm.
it's like you're buying a Mercedes, not even Mercedes is cheap now, but your Porsche, you're buying a Jaguar. That's the type of market those are in. So how many
Yeah,
people are doing that, right? And
exactly.
that's so I don't want to be up there. I want the things that to fly through the gate. Right now, every week in the farm, I have a delivery, right? And that's what I'm trying to add to. So one cocoa, as they will say, full basket, right?
Yeah, it's different levels of income stream, different type of income stream from the one area. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when we do our research and we think about our goat pen, I'm trying to utilize as much space in the goat house and the goat
Bang.
area to
Exactly.
get revenue from as much real estate in there. You know what I mean? It was a
Mm-hmm.
conversation we Trudy and I had about the design of the goat house because I'm looking at it as I'm like, I don't want unusable space. I don't want a round goat house. I don't have unusable space. I want
Exactly.
to utilize every bit of it
Every.
and make sure every inch of it is productive.
That's
And
correct.
the design of it is based on that. That's why we can expand accordingly, utilizing the outside of the goat house and still
Right.
keeping the feel of what we're looking for. TJ
Exactly.
wants to know initially the goats will be raised intensively. Is that correct? So it's gonna be totally intensive, or you're gonna do a semi-intensive situation.
It's their total.
Total intensive. There
Yes.
you go, TJ. And let me see if they got any more questions. Everybody's giving you mad props for this information that you're dropping tonight.
Okay, and I want to put a disclaimer out there. All this information come from Dr. Ryan, Dr. Patrick, Mr. Morgan, people like yourself. There's nothing new there, gentlemen. All these stuff is having conversation with Chimo Lincoln. I'm gonna cut him off soon. Because him start to be a little bit of problem there, right? But but you understand what I'm saying. I talked to TJ um, once or twice. Once when I
Hmm.
had a problem with a pig and I couldn't find a vet, and I reached out to him the other day, I asked him some question, right? You have knowledge there, right? We should be going to where the source is, right? I am a sponge right now and I'm sucking up everything, right? And even when I know everything, as I said to Mr. Hamilton this morning, boss man, I don't want you to stop correcting me. And if I say something is not right, I don't want to go down that road, all right?
Yeah, like lean on the people who've been it in a while, been in the business for a while, or have experience with livestock. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it crosses over, like certain things to do with animal care cross over. So
That is
somebody,
correct.
yeah, we have a situation with a goat with a swollen ear, and when
Mm-hmm.
I send the video off to Dr. Patrick, and Dr. Patrick come back and say, "Oh, this is popular in pigs and dogs."
Yeah.
And it's happening to our little buckling, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it was called hematoga or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so lean on the people that are surrounding
Exactly.
you, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You
And
definitely will get help.
okay, and one of the things that it really bothers me, and it's called animal abuse, right? You know the animal's sick, right? But you don't want to spend $8,000 to bring a vet in so you can save the animal. Guess what? The animal worth $40,000, $50,000. Why wouldn't you not spend $8,000 to bring a vet in to do it? You call on a man. I say, man, give an injection here, right? Going back to the the tape that Mr. Brown did, right? He did an awesome job. Okay,
Yeah.
but Mr. Brown did have good experience, right? The needle was long. If somebody said, "Boy, him use a long needle," no, you shouldn't be using a long needle like that when you're giving iron. But if you notice what he did, he didn't stick the needle all the way in.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will correct Mr. Brown on, not to put the needle in the back leg because that's the most important part of the animal. But I let it go. I didn't correct him, right? But you won't be doing it again. Reason for that? That's where the ham come from. So if you're introducing iron there today, chances are you're going to do the same injection spot a month down the road, 2 months down the road. So you sell that animal to a butcher. The man will say, "Boy, me find this big lump in my leg," because he keep on injecting the animal in the leg, you know. So we make mistakes, right? So all I'm saying is that draw on the people who's around you and learn from them. And this is,
Exactly.
by the way, I didn't pick this up, Props off to Mr. Hamilton today, who's giving me a lecture so I can make sure next time we fix it, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Okay, so you mentioned Lincoln name, and here he comes.
Oh
And
boy.
he has a question for you. I didn't know you got kicked out of a farm group.
Oh boy. Why did he have to go there? I like to put that behind me. Um, you know, the young man came and did the right thing. Um, uh, but I'm a Christian, okay, and
Hmm.
there's a part of me that nobody knows. I sponsor school. I make a big sale. We donate some of the money to a church or to the school and stuff like that. And I'm always looking out to see who I can help, right? I didn't get this resource just to keep it all for myself, right? So I always think, how can I reach out?
Hmm.
So the story behind this young man called me, and I'm not a stupid businessman, but I have a wife, and she let me do anything we want to do. We can go to Jamaica 10 times of the year. I'm gonna get a phone call, so we had to go to Jamaica so much right? So we're in the car one day. This young man called me, wanted to buy some animals. So I said to him, boss man, I have $150,000. Buy what you want. You can't get these animal, and he talk me down, right? And nobody talked me down on my animal. It's not cheap to raise an animal up to 250 pounds, 300 pounds, right? So we agreed on three animal for $150,000, and I cut. And when I got my wife hold my hand and said, "Peter, many times people help you. Why don't you just help this young man?" So I called the guy later and said, "How much animal you need?" Him said 7. And he said, "Why?" And I scratched it. I I tell you the truth. If my wife wasn't there, I would not have done this, right?
Hmm.
And so I said to the gentleman, "Okay, you can get 7 animal." So the gentleman now want the biggest animal. This is when we realized we're in trouble now. And I said, "No, you can't get the biggest animal." So me give them 7 of the smallest animal, give him a discount and tell him, say, "All right, you owe me $165,000.
Hmm.
And I says, so him says, "So when can you pay?" Remember, me not ask him and tell him, say, "I have to pay me on this date, him say, he can pay at certain times." I said, "Okay." I say, "Sure?" And him say, "Yes." I say, "All right, 3 months, 4 months down the road, right? Who will do that?" I just look up in the heaven and said, "Lord God, this, me not get no money out of this, right?" So I give him a lecture. I said, "Listen, don't give me a date that you can't fulfill, because when it comes to paying, I'm expecting my money." December come around, me no hear from this guy, right? So I call him up and say, "It's not due time yet, but I thought you, as a young farmer, you would start putting some money in the account, so this way when the time come around, it will be okay," right?
Yeah.
Now, time come around, 10 days before the money is due, man called me up and said, um, him him was in a car. I didn't even listen to tell you the truth. Some accident, him affair buy bumper from China, and I go, so I said to him, boss man, what does that have to do with me? Me and you in a business first, so you take care of me first, and then take care of the car later, right? Or if you were going to change your rules, you should have called me. And when the accident happened, I said, Mr. McCook, this policeman give me a hard time. You know, can we change the rule? You don't change the rule a couple of days before. So I came up to him and said, listen, I knew I was going to lose this animal. I'm out already write it off. So I want to thank my wife for it, right? And I said, man, you know, I have nothing more to say, right? End of conversation. Didn't have no more conversation with him. Everything he said in those texts was true, right? That I said, we don't want the animal and him something there. Yeah. What really bothers me now is 2 weeks ago, this little young man create a group, posing my animals. I don't pay for them. So I called him up and said, young man, you can't do that. You can't benefit off of something you got for free. You need to come clean. The man started to cuss me out. To me wicked and all these things. That's when my back went up. He said, all right, hang up the phone. So I called him back and said, listen, I know what I said in January, but make a mistake. May I have a deal? You're supposed to pay for these animals January 15th. I'm giving you 20 days to get my money. I give you an account number for you to put the money in there, right? And start telling me all sorts of things to me. He's me no Christian, me this and that, you know, do nothing for nobody, right? So to be honest with you, I went down to his level and I started go back and forth with him. And at the end of the day, Mr. Bossman, put the money in the account, we're done with you. So when him start tell me now, him not pay me a single dime, him me no know the law, me stupid and all those stuff. Me say, all right, buddy, you need to be exposed. You are a scammer. You don't have no integrity. It take a lot for me to do that. So everybody will come on the farm, they must produce their ID. I fill it out in raw, the book, I did the terms and everything like that. So I scratch out his the number that pertaining to his license that you could file for credit and all that stuff that identify you, and I expose him, and it went back and forth all day. You're not going to believe this, and I have to let everybody know this. You know, the young man was somebody in the church being prepared to be a pastor, right? Yeah, yeah, so no, it's very important, and I am, everybody should listen to this, right? So his bishop got hold of what's going on, all right? And Lincoln, please forgive me, all right? I'm about to say something that nobody knows. I do a lot for everybody, right? So the whole idea for me to get back this animal is not for me to get back the money, right? I was going to donate it to Lincoln. Can I say it? Did he say yes?
I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Okay. I was going to donate it to the young lady down in Canada because to me, she needs it more than this gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
So the account that I gave them wasn't my account, it was her account. So we donate that money, whatever the agreement is, and we donate it. So my message to that young man, if you're listening, be truthful. Know when somebody's actually helping you. Know when you get a gift. Who's going to give you a 250-pound animal, 7 of them, for $315,000? Those animals value $65,000. That was my way to say, okay, you're young, we'll do something. But the fact that he created a website, started to advertise the animals, them, and then dissing me, that's disrespectful. Off the back, he kicked me out of the group, right? First, I joined the group to make a comment. He kicked me out. So now I'm in the same company as Lincoln. I don't know what group can get kicked out of, but I'm in the same company as them. But I'm not going to stop helping people, right? There's a lot of people out there that I see help Christmas, I killed 4 animals and I distribute it in the community. That's money coming out of my pocket, right? Because I know these people need help, right? And we who have abundant need to get, don't get me wrong, I don't have abundant, but I can help myself, right? And if my
Mm-hmm.
wife, I hear me now, she said, oh, who will help us? Me no say that she gonna say, right? But we can help somebody. So I kill 4 animals. All my supplier get a leg of pork, and the need in my district. I come from a very poor district. I love it to death. I make sure go around and give them some meat for just the day before Christmas, so that they can have something to eat for Christmas.
Yes, sir. Hats off to you because you know what I mean. That's a real Christian right there.
Thank
You
you.
know what I mean? That's a real Christian right there. You don't give to get in return. You give because your heart say you should.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You know what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
way it should be. And you give some, forget about it. Because if you will need, God will turn around and say, "Yo, I hear a turn now."
But
You
me
know
no
what I
know
mean?
I'm not hanging around Lincoln, Lincoln, I bring me down.
Yo, no, hey, trust me. Lincoln is worth his weight when it comes to the advice and stuff he gives you. He creates some trouble sometimes, but
Yes.
trust me. I will never forget the night Lincoln chewed me out. I was in Brampton and chew me out and say, yo, you got a secret service, but you hold on for the business for you keep it quiet for. And from that day, I never forget. I'm like, okay, it's time to go roll out. Time to roll out.
And that's what he has done to me, and that's why those videos are coming out, and to
Yeah.
show what I'm doing and what in the field and everything like that.
Yeah, and I've seen the difference. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if people are gonna come get it if they want it, whether you tell people it's there or not.
Yes,
Because
that's
the
right.
people them around you or people who come here are gonna say, "Oh, that's what they're saying." But I realize the bigger security is when everybody know it's there. Then more people
Exactly.
are protecting you than people are trying to steal.
Can I tell you something? Beside one roughneck move off with a chainsaw, for the 3 years I've been in business, I have not lost anything, right? And the
Hmm.
chainsaw that was took off the property is one of those equipment that um, you don't use every day. And
Yeah,
then when we went to find it,
it's
and
gone.
it's gone. And
Mhm.
my mother dropped. My mother is the one who do inventory every week on the equipment. Okay, we check everything down to the knife.
Mhm.
They want a gloves. They must give her all gloves. They
Back.
want a, they want a water boot. We supply a water boot to them. They must
Yeah,
give me back the tear up.
right.
But can
I
I keep
always
the
say that
tear up
they
one?
bring the water boot where you use. Come, bring the file down. Cutlass come. Yep.
Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes. And also those are our inventory. But Mr. McCook, we have to do with that. Never mind what me I do with it. Just bring it up. And you know
Yep.
what? I burned the water boot because it's ripped. Don't get me wrong. Principle is principle. Me no want a man bust up a water boot. Thinks they more get one
And
to
new.
take home.
Yep.
Right? And a
Hmm.
lot of people don't understand why manufacturer throw things in the garbage, because people will say that bad, just take it home, right? So you have to think in that aspect, right? I don't mean to be disrespectful. I don't mean to do anything like that. Listen, in my district, right? My goal when I started out is to hire 10, 15 people in that district. Do you know that I don't have one person working for me in the district? Every one of
Wow.
my worker is from out of town. Some simple fact that they don't know how to do go to a job. 8 o'clock, okay, 8 o'clock at 8 o'clock. Don't tell me, don't come to work at 8:30, right?
Hey man, we've been battling that whole thing even more so because I got so frustrated with it over the last couple weeks. I was like, dude, like, what is the excuse this morning?
Mm-hmm.
There's always an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Always an excuse. And I'm like, what is it this morning?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
last week was good. I must give them that. Last week was
Mm-hmm.
good. You know what I mean? Because I just had enough of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just had enough of it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and they always have an excuse for why they're 10,
Why?
15 minutes late, half an hour late, and they do not respect time.
Uh,
No respect for time.
None. And you know, my biggest thing with my workers, once I know I lost a worker, is when he said to me, "Me hear you." Once he said that word to me, Me tell him to leave the property, because I said to him, there's a difference between you hear me and you understand what I'm saying to you. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, gentlemen. I'm not a tyrant. I just need a person to perform the task that's there. We're running a business. We're supposed to get at least 6 hours production every day because you don't walk down to the field 25 minutes, right? Then walk back up to the field another 25 minutes. Then take, a few little break and can work like a robot. So if I get 6 hours, I'm happy, right? Because we know say they more drink a jelly, they more eat a can, right? That's all I give them. We just don't tell them don't eat 4 jelly because we can sell those jelly for $60 one, right? You can have one. So they just don't understand that concept of saying, I understand, me hear you. Once they say that to me, Ray, I'm telling you, they're on the radar like up
I
here.
thought I was the only one who have things responses that triggers me.
Oh,
I'm not alone. There's
no,
things,
no.
and I was like, dude, like, what does that mean? Like, I'm like, what does that mean? Because I don't understand that. Tell me,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm looking for is for you to respond, so I know you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, not me hear you.
Yeah.
No.
Mm.
Yeah,
All right.
once they
So
say
yes.
that,
You say so. So you say.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What you say, no, I said, no, you're not buying to my program, so you're not going to be here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I
I'm
rather,
happy to know I'm not the only one who get triggered by these responses that
okay,
just
Ray,
don't make no sense to me.
me and you is in the business hire people and other farmers out there. If you have people working on your farm and you're putting up with non-production, they need to go because we have to set the example. Work time start at 8 o'clock, not 8:05. All right,
Yeah.
and, and you have to make sure that you give them clear tasks and timing to do. Like I know how much banana root I have on my property. So when I give a man a work, I'm say, how much banana root you do today? And can't tell me say do a lot. You say no, 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 no. We need to know how much, right? And then I work it down to the minutes for them. I need to talk to Dwayne, because Dwayne probably like what I'm saying to you.
Oh
So
yeah.
me say, let me work this stuff, So you work 8 hours for me today, and you only do 20. So you work out the maths on that. Does that make sense? And they start cluing. I said, no, I only have 300 banana root down there. I expect you to do at least 100. Them all look at me with my eyes open. He said, how long does it take to circle with a banana? Right? I said, I can show you how to circle with a banana. Right? So those are the things that farmers put up with. And I'm saying to farmers out there, to help us to grow the industry, you can't let a man be lazy. You have to assign a time to a task and make sure it gets done. We're not asking them to be a slave. We're not asking them to run and to work unsafe. And by the way, just to let you know, the 3 days that it rain up on my farm, my people get paid. I just put them in a different position. I'm not tell them to stay home because we know so them have a family to take care of. They sanitize the pig pen. They clean all the equipment. The little extra stuff you can do when you have nice weather, right? That's
I
what we
know.
do.
Like that for us when it's raining, I'm like, yo, perfect time to trim hoofs, man. Let's go trim all the hoofs. Hoofs
Exactly.
are not going out. Let's all trim hoofs today. So there's always something to be done during that time that normally wouldn't be able to do it on a nice day. You would be doing more strenuous stuff, more,
Mm-hmm.
other things that are out in the field or wherever.
Yeah.
But like raining all week, we say, yo, let's trim hoofs. Let's get all these animals' hoofs trimmed up,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but it's a real challenge. And,
It is a
I
challenge.
mean, and the communicating with them is very challenging too, because sometimes their response, you have to figure, okay, are they brushing me off or it's just how they respond to
Okay.
something, you know what I'm saying? But for
Yeah.
me, my patients are running short when it comes to their responses because I don't see why I have to conform to them
Mm-hmm.
when I'm the one giving the directives.
Exactly.
You know what I
And
mean? We're the ones cutting the checks. We're the ones getting directives. Why do I need to conform to you?
okay, and you said that right. And you know, Ray, before, as of January last year, sorry, as of December last year, I was using contract worker. They come in, they do assignment, and go about their business. I have employee now, and you
Hmm.
know, Ray, I'm paying their deduction.
Yeah,
Because if a man make a money, they must say, boss, you can't make this a small money and you take money off, you know. So they don't realize that $30,000 a month with your
hmm,
portion you're paying on their behalf, right?
yeah,
They don't see that. And you explain to them that, hey, you're actually making another $5,000 a month, you know. Oh, you owe me, I make 5,000 a month, sir. Because when you reach 60 or whatever the retirement
yeah.
age in Jamaica, you can get something. If you want to go buy a house, you have something in the
NHT, yeah,
house in
yeah,
there, right?
hmm,
And I'm paying their portion, right?
yeah. Same
I'm
here.
paying their portion.
Same here. We're totally tax compliant because of that.
Yeah.
We have to pay it every month. You
Okay,
know what I mean?
this month I'm going to have to pay $5,000 for late filing, right? Because I'm not going to be ready, right? You know. So the point, but I'm not too worried about it because I have a lot of capital costs, right? So I'm not sure any expense because you build this place, so you have proof that you build a place and you have your receipt, you're good, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, what I'm saying is that you have to be in compliance with your tax. You have to treat the people properly. But they don't realize it's a benefit for them, right? They don't see the tangible money right there and there, right?
No, they don't. And I'm trying to educate them and try to let them know, but it is a challenge, man. And for the people who are on here who maybe their operation is not at that level, if you aspire to take your operation to that level to be officially a business, another income stream, you will have to deal with these issues.
Yes.
These are things you cannot go around. You can't go around it. If
Mm-hmm.
you plan to make this a successful operation or a second income stream or whatever you plan it, your farming operation to be, you can't go around these issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is something you should pay attention to and take it from people like us who definitely try to do things the right way because it
Yeah.
impacts us on the other side too. So we always try to be compliant. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because your name is attached to something that you
Mm-hmm.
can't let it go sideways because it will impact the other side of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, so we try to be in compliance with these things, and trust me, the challenge of having workers understand how important it is to be punctual, how important it is to be productive, and how it directly affect them. Trust me, I'm actively now gonna look for a time machine. One of them machine, my machine them are factory. Them punch the clock
Mm-hmm.
because I am gonna get them to punch the clock and break it down for them
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
and let
don't
them see.
understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because them have a habit of running out the clock.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I say to them, I have 25 acres, right? And if we're working at the far part of the property, you just take them off and out to get up. I look at them and say, listen, do you realize that it's more feasible for you to bring something down the field and sit down for an hour to eat more than walk up all the way to the yard, to the kitchen, eat something, and then walk all the way
all the way
back, you
back.
know? And then you know the funny thing about it, Ray? Them still coming up at 3:30 because the timing on my farm for the regular work is 6:30 to 3:30, right?
Mhm.
And they get an hour for break or for lunch, and and Sundays they only work till 12 o'clock, and then the key guy will take one guy in the afternoon and feed the animals. So therefore, we have the grass ready. We don't do a thorough clean in the evening. We just get to make sure there's the animals so they can go, make sure the animal eat, and then
Yeah,
they can go have a decent supper because I give them housing, right? I give them housing. They have a decent bed, not a cargo bed. They have a
Mhm.
mattress. The beds are 6 feet apart. And I want to talk about this. This is where it just came up in my mind. On my farm, we follow all protocol for COVID, right? The workers, once they're in a common area, they all have to wear a mask. If I see them don't have the mask on, me and them have a problem. Biosecurity is also important, right? When they go into the field, I have a bucket. They sanitize their water boot going into the field and coming out the field, right? I have a container with the bleach water, diluted bleach water. They come out of the field. They go from different area in the farm. We're promoting wash your hands, right? Like I'm looking at them down in the pig area the other day, and I just shake my head. Two guys talking like them, them forgets a corona around, right? I had to call them and say, guys, where's your mask, right? And the funny thing about it, my mom is 78 and she can run circles around all of them, right? So I call them out and say, hey, my mom come up on the farm 3 days a week. Your job is to protect her, right? I don't want nobody around my mom without a mask, right? You know, so, it's very important that we follow these protocols. We got to keep ourselves safe, right? In my home, down in content, if I have a guys delivering gas or somebody has to come into the house, they um they don't come in. They just do the well, they do the gas. They sanitize their hand. Mom have the bleach water out there. Actually, my mom bleach water at the gate for them to step in before them come in. And
What?
then yeah, she protect herself. Even the lady I have a living helper there. She wear a mask 24/7 when she's around my mother. Right? So
Mhm.
yeah, you really have to protect yourself. The only person don't wear a mask around the yard is the dog.
Here's this comment. I don't use employees, I use business partners. You want to respond to that? Because I have my own take on that whole concept.
I don't have any response to that. I'm just getting into it. I do have a business partner now for my project Trelawney, and so far everything is going well. What I recommend,
No, but I think
yeah,
what he's saying is the workers, you should incentivize the workers by either profit sharing or whatever it is.
uh, Lincoln and I have that conversation a lot. What I do have is a bonus program, right? And my bonus program hasn't been able to kick into place, right? So what I do is take a dollar value at, say, 150,000 for the year, right? Paid out 3 times:
Hmm.
Easter, September, and just before Christmas. And when Dr. Patrick come in, you would put a scorecard on his report to me. When Mr. Brian from the coffee come in, you'll put a scorecard on his field when he sees in the field. And then when Rada come in, and that's how I tell them they'll be rewarded. So if, for example, now they only do 70% on the scorecard, they can get 70% of that $150,000, right? And
Hmm.
then I paid out on those times. I have not able to implement this because due to me and my standard, I have not had a guy more than 3 to 6 months. Now, Mr. Brown is doing extremely well, and I'm knocking wood that he's going to continue that way. And I told him, I said, Mr. Brown, I'm not jumping for joy. It's not that I don't appreciate what you're doing, but I've seen so much of you guys come in and you work your butt off to show me what you can do. And then after a month, you guys just start sliding,
Yeah, they
right?
get comfortable.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm. You know,
Go
say
ahead.
content breed, whatever the term is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that.
Okay. Um, all right. I think that's it. Uh,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
All right. I
Man.
just want to make a couple comments, okay, before I
Hmm.
leave. Okay.
Yeah.
Ray, I've been listening to your program for the last, I don't know, I haven't kept track, but it's very
Hmm.
informative. I want to thank you for inviting me. I want to thank you for being an asset to a lot of people out there, setting the bar for what other people can do. Not everybody going to have a facility like yours, but I want to tell people, if you look at, don't look at the facility, but look
No.
at the structure that you're doing, how you take care of the animal, right? That's my goal. I'm starting off with 12, and if I can't take care of 12 animal like you do, I'm not expanding. I'm going to use my quotas as a
Yeah,
storage.
we started with 7 goats from TJ.
Yes,
Okay,
and
seven
then
goats. We started with.
and and then I want to thank a few other people. Everything I've mentioned here tonight is not from Peter McCook. It's from starting out with Dr. Ryan from Vet and the Go, Dr. Andre Valupet, Dr. Patrick, and Mr. Hamilton from Nutrimix, and I must join Dr. Williams. Without these people, and then Dr. Morgan, sorry, without these people, I would not be where I am. I want to also give a big shout out to Prince Avery from Grower's Choice Organic Fertilizer. Anybody think of going organic, they have to talk to him, and I'll make sure you get his number so Trudy
Yeah.
can get in. And
Mhm.
then there's some other notables that I have to talk. They're not in any order. Lincoln, Benjamin, Rossi, yourself, Ray, and then Mr. Senior from Bogle, Mr. Edward, Mr. Lewis from the Banana Board, and Rod and Mr. Brandt, and most of all, Mr. Brian from the Coffee Board. Without all these people, there's no Peter McCook, right? So I want to thank those people for helping me, and I want to continue those people. I'm asking those people to continue to challenge me for making sure my standard is up. And then I'm going to do another shout out or ask a question or for help. Nutrimix, this is for you, okay? We're the farmers that use your product. If we farmers stop using Nutrimix product, there's no Nutrimix. I'm asking you to look at your system. You have your distribution center, they buy your product, but guess who buy the product from them? We do, right? It's as crazy. 5 minutes from my farm, it's $18 for a bag of boar and sow. And I go all the way to Linston, which is an hour away, and I get it for 14 something. Something is not right. Okay. At certain times of the year, I use a certain amount of feeding. And I'm willing to pay. I don't want a month's supply of feeding on my farm. That means if feeding is not going to do what it's supposed to do. I should be able to piggyback on one of the truck that come in to those guys in my area and get 2 weeks supply at a decent cost. Come on, we're the end user. Please take care of us. Thank you. Ray, I appreciate
Yes,
everything.
sir. No problem. And you know you're welcome back anytime. I want to thank everybody on here, the family. You guys are always supporting, you know, all the vets, all the opinion pundits. You know what I mean? There's so many people who contribute to this sector over the short period of time we've been doing this. And I got to give them props, whether they instigate a conversation or they try to squash a conversation or they contribute facts to a conversation. We all appreciate it because if you want to change something, you got to disrupt it. You cannot change anything if you don't disrupt it, and we believe strongly in that. You know what I mean? So I want to thank everybody. You know what I mean? The man them that always support me. You know what I mean? Like Anthony, Lincoln, TJ, Mr. McCool. You know what I mean? Tiana, Tiana, Tiana Dallas. That lady is amazing. Khalil, I don't remember if I see Khalil tonight. I'm gonna have to find out where he is. You know what I mean? Dr. Patrick, Craig, you know what I mean? Dr. McHugh, like, trust me, I try to be non-aligned, really, so I can get all the help I need and
Yes.
pick up all these people at the same time. If they want this platform to come say anything, do anything, they're welcome. I do not do that whole I'm
Mm-hmm.
over here, I'm over there. I'm right down the middle, and whoever wants to come, come. And I respect and appreciate everyone. So I want to big up everybody and thank you all for hanging out for 2 hours. Mr. McCool, you know, easy boss.
All right, respect. Hey, I
Yeah.
was gonna wear my Jamaica colors tonight, but my wife said I'm gonna go up on a trip because every time I go up on a trip, I have to represent. So I was gonna
Okay.
wear my Jamaican color, but I said no, let me be with myself tonight. I have some little respect.
No, man, it's welcome. So thank you again, and
Thank.
see you guys next week, same time, same place. Let's rock it again. You know what I
All right,
mean?
good
More
night.
information and more knowledge we bring it to the people. And peace out. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
respect. Thank you. Good
Come on.
night. Bye.